Record here. Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is, what is today? I just knew it. The 25th, April 25th, 2020. I hope everybody's doing okay today. I hope everybody's doing amazing today. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation today. See, it goes live to my other channels. Why doesn't it go live to the other channel? We're going to what is today? Where's the, I just knew it. The 25th, April. There we go. Mute that out. Today's about taking care of today. How about that? Let's take care of today. First of all, I'll go ahead and send out your messages of joy, of gratitude, of honor, of love, of respect. Send those out to individuals you're thinking of. Let's see here. Yeah, send out your messages, and when you're done, type a D in the chat. And some of you are going, how could somebody type a D in the chat so quick? Well, it's probably because they have they've already scheduled their messages out from the day before. All right, Ralph. And is it Joanna or just Joanne? Joanne. Not on which one it's the correct one. Joanne or Joanna? Oh, okay, both. Okay. So folks, so here's a question for you. What does today hold for you? What does today hold for you? Today holds unlimited possibilities. Here's the reality. Hey, there's Giorgio. I was just talking about you, Giorgio. Good to have you here, brother. He's in Quito, Ecuador. He's in actually Ecuador, in a pretty amazing little town. I'll tell you about him in just a little bit. Amazing soul. So here's the thing. There's the known and the unknown. Listen carefully to me. There's the known and the unknown. Which is there more of? Think about that for just a second. Thanks for all the D's there, for all of the dones. If you think about what you know and what you don't know, which is there more of? Of course, there's more of the unknown. So if we get stuck, if we get caught sideways, if we get caught in a pickle, it's almost going to be impossible, if we're in trouble, to solve it with the known. Does that make sense, y'all? So if we're trying to solve a situation with the known, and we get into a problem that we kind of maybe possibly knew somewhere down deep in our heart could be a problem going forward, we've got to solve it with the unknown. Well, of course, Sean, that makes sense, but I don't know how to get to the unknown. I need the unknown to be known. I get that. But if we're trying to stir up answers in the unknown by only, so let's just say here, okay, let me give you a visual. So I got this cup, which is big, and I got this cup, which is little. And I keep going to the known, and I keep trying to stir up the known to get my answers, when the answer is over here. The answer is over here for everyone, for anything and everything and everyone, and any answer that you're struggling with, the answer is in the unknown. So the question then becomes, how do I get into the unknown? You got to quiet the known. You got to slow down what you know. You got to do things differently. And I don't care if it's as different as putting your pants on backwards. Until you start to do things differently, the unknown can't find you. Because, well, let me ask you, I ask you this most every day. How many of you believe your thoughts can influence your day? If you believe your thoughts can influence your day, type a Y in the chat for yes. So we believe our thoughts can influence our day. So why is it so difficult to dance into the unknown? because we have to have structure. We have to have some kind of design in our life. Well, I'll go back to Einstein. The problems that are made by man cannot be solved by the same mindset that created them, which translates to me, a farm boy. What got you here can't get you out of here. So today's Saturday the 25th. What do you need to do different? What do you need to do to get more? What do you need to do to have more in your day today? Well, research would tell you, do more of what you're good at. Well, if you're already sitting there and everything that you're good at has not worked, then that's kind of a crappy answer. That solution doesn't work. I can't do more of what I'm good at because what I'm good at doesn't exist anymore. What in your life doesn't exist anymore? Could be your job doesn't exist. Could be I was talking with Giorgio, and they're in a I don't want to call it a party town. I'll call it a festival town, but it's a party town. They can't have parties, and if there's no exchange of energy, there's no exchange of income. So what doesn't exist anymore? That energy exchange. But here's the truth about all money. It's just energy. People pay for their mortgage because they want to have their house. That's energy. People get their hair cut because they want to look good. It's just an exchange of energy. And a lot of times what happens is when, and I speak from experience in this. In 2004, when the hurricanes came through Florida, some of you know this story, my house was destroyed. Our house was destroyed. Me and my bride and a 1-year-old. We were homeless for 3 years. Now, not living on the street. I wasn't broke, but I didn't have a home. We were house surfing. We were rental surfing. We were just a variety of things. And the insurance company didn't pay for 3 years. I'm a new dad. I got all of these things. Everything is just absolutely going a heck in a handbasket. And it was making Mason sick. What we knew had changed forever. What we thought was going to be forever no longer existed. So it came down to, what do I do today? So the question is for you, what do you do today? What would generate income for you, right? That's why I started the company 30 years ago, Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. Today, what activity do you know that you can do will change your state? That activity is as simple as reaching out and telling somebody you love them. Well, I did that yesterday. Then do more of it. Listen, the money that's not going to you is going someplace else. This is just a shift in wealth. That's all this is. It's an alignment of wealth that may be totally out of alignment. But right now, the key is, good morning, Wendy. The key is, what can you do today, right now? And it's the simple things. It's Einstein said, he also said, everything should be as simple as possible, not simpler. When Leo dances, I just see Leo typed up his Y and D. When Leo dances and he teaches dancing, merengue and salsa and all of those amazing moves, when somebody dances perfectly, when somebody plays the harp perfectly, when somebody plays the piano perfectly, it looks effortless. Would you all agree with that? When somebody is at their craft, when you guys ask me to do, to handle objections or to do a little deep dive with you, you're like, how does he do that? It makes it look so effortless. The reason that all of us, myself included, go through these challenges is because we start to make it complicated. We start to try to fix everything we know with the known. If we are coming across, if we have habitualized ourselves, meaning we have habitized ourselves, we have become creatures of habit, right? I can reach down here without looking. I looked once, I don't have to look again. I can look down, pick up this coffee cup without spilling it, spin it, do all of this, and while I'm still having a conversation. So all of this muscle movement, all of this stuff, knowing where the table was, knowing how heavy it is, knowing how warm it might be right now, all of this is habitualized. All of this is habit. This is everything I've known. You guys have watched me for the last 430 episodes, drink a coffee, a tea, water, or something out of this, and I know how to move it from here to here. You give me a different cup. You give me something different. I've got to run a new program to find it. So here's my question. What's the new program you need to run today? Today, right now at 8:43 a.m., 9:43 Eastern, 8:43 Mountain, 7:43 Pacific. There is a new program you need to plug in. You need to take a hard drive. You need to take a scan disk, an SD card, and you need to plug it in. And you need to reach around the back of your computer and plug it in. You need to add something to your phone. You need to do something. What new program do you need to plug in? Here's the challenge. We think we're plugging in new programs. All we're doing is going to our archives, and we're running old programs that are updated. Y'all follow me on this? We're running, oh, I did that last time, but now I'm going to run version 2.0. What would be wildly different in your world today? We have to step into the unknown. And the unknown, I'm going to go back to Giorgio today, this morning. He saw a post I made on Facebook, reached out to me, and in his perfect English, I'm like, geez, I would have remembered somebody with that, an English person, because Giorgio made me think maybe Italian, maybe, right? But all of a sudden we started talking. I looked at his profile, and no, I remembered him from when we were in Quito 6 or 7 years ago. But something that was not on his radar yesterday, he took an action, he took a task, he did something he hadn't done in 6 years. That's new programming. He reached out to me and he said, hey, I'd love to hear what you're doing. I don't know if it's for me, but I've always followed you for 6 years. I've paid attention to some of your stuff. Let's have a conversation. So rather than say, okay, I'm doing calls, this and this. Here's what most of you might have done. Cool, I'm doing a call at 10 o'clock today. You should jump on it. That's my business opportunity call that I'm doing at 10. No, I said, hey, I'm doing a call at 8:30. I'm doing my daily leadership call, daily awakening call. Can you chat beforehand? So we jumped on a Zoom and we chatted. Why is that important? Because many of you don't have the courage of Giorgio to reach out and go, yeah, I'm open for anything right now. Why? Maybe quite possibly because your pain isn't big enough right now. The nail on the porch that you're sitting on, right? We've all heard the story. Guy walks up to a salesman walks up to an old man on the porch. He says, excuse me, why is your dog moaning? He's sitting on a nail. Well, why didn't he get up and move? It ain't hurting enough for him to move. Now, I will say this about my Latino family. They're just crazy enough to do things that are crazy. I got a lot of gringos that would do this as well, but the Latino family, they're just a little bit off center, and I love it. We are savages. Yes, you are. So, Georgie, I just had a great conversation. I don't know what's going to come of it. But I do know this. I love the fact that I got to connect with Giorgio again. How many people in your phone, how many people in your relationships, how many people in your connections, 6 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, that you haven't reached out to them? Today, right now, today, in the next 5 minutes, can you all get on your phone? If you can get on your phone while you're still on here, can you send a text out to somebody that you're not even sure who they are in your phone? Because I promise you, if I scrolled through my 5,000 names on Facebook, I keep trying to eliminate them because I don't know them. It doesn't serve. I'm not in the business of, hey, I get paid by having 5,000 Facebook friends. I got to tell you, because Giorgio and I haven't connected in 6 years, had I done a cleaning, we may not have connected because I didn't know he was watching. I didn't know we were still connected like that. Well, how did you know you were connected? Because he saw a post today. So 2 things I want you to be aware of. People are watching that you don't know are watching. For every eyeball that you see, there's 10 eyeballs that you don't see that are looking at your stuff. What are the posts that you're putting out right now? Are you putting out posts of fear? Are you putting out posts of possibility? Listen, the entire world is having to step into the unknown. Can you lead them graciously? Can you lead them cautiously? Can you lead them confidently into the unknown? How the hell am I supposed to do that? I'm stepping into the unknown. Is your center correct? Is your source correct? This ain't about God or anything else. This is about you. Where do you find your value? Is your value of the highest that you can step into the unknown and be able to provide the best value in the unknown? Because what are right now, we can kind of guess what's in the unknown. We can kind of guess what's beyond the horizon. What's beyond the horizon? More unknown. You've stepped into the unknown for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. This is not any different. The challenge is that everybody is stepping into the unknown. You know what makes these calls even more beneficial right now? There is a consistency somewhere in the unknown. Y'all follow me? When I see somebody like Adeloise, when she's pushing her kids in the wagon, and we see that in the morning, the wagon with the squeaky wheel. That's a known in the unknown. When Tracy Smith starts doing her videos, or Rhonda starts doing her videos, or Kayla starts doing her videos, or Leslie starts doing her videos, those are knowns in the unknowns. So there needs to be a routine. There needs to be a pattern so people don't say to you, have you lost your mind? Because we're hearing a lot of that right now. We're hearing a lot of, have you lost your mind? People who are joining, all I can speak to is me. People who are joining me in business who have lost their sales position twice in the last 18 months are at a crossroads right now. I was making good money there, but if I get involved in this business, oh my gosh, is this business going to work? And they have their friends. Somebody had the gall to tell one of the new members on the team, what are you doing? You're selling supplements? Are you crazy? And it kind of burst her bubble because this is a person of influence. I said, what do? They said, well, they own their own cosmetic company. I'm like, oh, so they sell products too, right? And their product's better than your solution? Well, I didn't quite think of it that way. This is addiction to approval. If you listen carefully to people today, you will see what they are addicted to. When my dad started our family businesses way back when, he had a corporate position with a company. In the 70s, he was making $250,000. That's probably over $1 million today, or at least close to it. And he got mad. He got frustrated one day because they hired a specialist to come in and find out what everybody's job was. And my dad had taken that company from $2 million to $18 million in about 4 years, just in sales. That's all he was vice president of sales. And they brought somebody in and they said, you know, Mike really doesn't do a whole lot. You've got all these customers. You've got all these salespeople. You're spending $250,000 on something you really don't need. That's what the specialist told the owner. And so my dad said, well, if you don't need me, fire me. And they let him go. And the $19 million a year company went back to $1 million in 9 months. My dad started his own business. He said, enough is enough. And I'm glad that that happened, but it caused a big issue for my mom because mom was used to the income coming in. How many of you are used to your income coming in? How many of us remember the story that Bob shared yesterday? Bob shared the story yesterday about these chefs, this restaurant that got a 3-star Michelin and then burned it to the ground. Literally burned all of the pots and pans and had it formed into a metal step at the front of the new restaurant. They literally burned themselves down and started over. All of us were amazed at that. All of us could see the metaphor in us becoming the step, all of us melting down our previous and past experience. Some of us are in the fire right now. Maybe the fire's not hot enough yet. Maybe we got to fan the fire a little bit. Maybe we got to fan that desire of emotion. Maybe we got to fan that desire of just bullheadedness. Maybe we got to fire that fan that says, you know what? Screw that. I'm doing this. This is not a time for timidness. This is not a time for let's wait and see. Wait and see was 60 days ago. Let's wait and see. Right now we're at jump or be killed. So the question is, what can you do today? It is now 8:53. How many of you sent out a text? Because listening to me, listening to my gold, writing it down in your books, isn't putting any gold in your pocket. I'm shocked. Alex did it. How many of us are surprised that Alex did it? Dakaya did it. Joanne did it. Excellent. Cool. Good. I'm glad to see you're doing it because this is what's going to be required right now. In this moment, in the next 30 days, you're going to see things that you've never seen before. You're going to hear things that you've never heard before. Why? Because we're getting at the peak of change. Change has been happening all along. But you know what? It takes 21 days to It doesn't take 21 days to form a habit. A habit cannot be formed in 21 days, just FYI. It takes 21 days of conscious awareness to begin the change, to make the conscious decision of a habit to work towards it becoming unconscious. Because it's not a habit, it's still an awareness. It takes a year for a habit to sink in. That's why some of you miss the calls in the morning. That's why right now we have how many on the call? 63, and there's usually another 40 that are on the call. I'm okay with that, but I'm just saying that's the habit. The habit is they're not on the weekend calls. The habit is some of you are on the weekend calls. 21 day, listen, there's 20 cigarettes in a pack of cigarettes. Do you ever figure out why there's 20 cigarettes in a pack of cigarettes and not 18 or 34? They've done the research. They've done the research, but that's chemical based. See, when you make a decision, when you want to go forward, when you want to make a decision, when you want to change your day, you've got to create the chemical in the brain. The reason the cigarette works in 21 days is because it's forming an addiction to the new chemicals. Some of you can't hold a thought for more than 5 minutes. How are you going to work on a 90-day plan? You've got to do it right now, in this moment, today. You can't wait another minute. You've got to do something right now to create the chemical cocktail in your brain that says, I am in charge. Because you'll get off this call, you'll go back to life, you'll go back to a pattern that's habitualized in your day. You'll pick up your phone, you'll check Facebook, you'll get on Instagram, and you'll do all of the things you did yesterday. And this idea of your new dream, of your new goal, of your new desire gets wiped out in this chemical storm of normal. Listen, I've been studying the brain for 30 years. I'm barely scratching the surface. Because I'm not a scientist. I look at humanity. That's why when you speak to me, I can hear exactly where you're at based upon my feeble understanding of the predictability of human science. But when you, well, it takes 21 days people say it takes 21. Yes, if you have chemically induced the change. How long does it take to detox? Think about this. How long does it take to detox? Somebody goes into rehab, it's minimum how many days? And that's not taking any drugs. Why is it so hard to get off drugs? We're not taking them. So if you think that you've got some unbelievable God-given capacity to say, I'm going to set a goal and in 21 days, my goal will take over because it takes 21 days to form a habit. Whoever told you to believe that should be, well, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's just a lie. Yeah, many people in the personal development field, because they don't understand it, they never tell you the next thing and you go, ooh, for 21 days, oh, they got a 21-day program for $497. If I buy that, I'll have my program done. How many of you have spent money on programs, on trainings, and they're either sitting on the shelf or sitting in your computer, and maybe you've gone through them all, but they haven't turned your day or life around. They haven't allowed you to create new habits in 21 days. And my course is too much. My course is too much. Well, what course do you have? This one I'm teaching you right now. You know why most of you will take down good notes and not follow them? Because you haven't paid $10,000. If I were to charge you $10,000 a month for my training, how many of you might turn off the TV or turn off anybody else that you're out there going, hey, listen, I'm spending all my money here. I need to make sure I get my money back. So at least I have a finger to point at. See, none of you can point your finger at me and go, you're not helping. Because I'm not the only one you're listening to. I don't care. Choose not to listen to me. But if you're listening to 17 other people, and I get people that come on here and go, well, I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that. Listen, how many loves can you have in your life? You can have a lot of loves in your life. How many people can you be married to? And I'm not creating a cult here. I'm just saying that if what I say is good, then do it. And if it's not good, get off the damn call. But you're hearing me say things you've not heard anyplace else. You're hearing me give you guidance that's different than anybody else. Maybe that's enough. I've not asked you for a single penny, but I've asked you for your most precious thing, time. What can you do right now? It's now 9 o'clock. What can you do right now to move your business forward, to move your life forward? Can you go thank somebody else? Can you invite somebody to a presentation? What are you doing to move your business forward? What are you doing to deepen your relationships? Yesterday, I was on Zooms from 6:30 in the morning, the start of our call, till 8:30 at night. Literally, one after one after one, enough time, even sometimes on Zooms, saying, listen, you got to hang out there. I got to go pee. I'll be back. But what's been the production of those Zooms? I would think there's probably only a couple of people that joined the business. The rest were keeping people from jumping off the cliff. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm strong enough. I don't know if I'm doing the right stuff. How much time did you invest in your team yesterday? How much time did you invest in your family yesterday? Well, I'm not married. How much time did you invest in your family? You got cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, or good friends that are family. What can you do right now? Here's my question to you. Bob, were you going to say something?
Yeah, can I offer you a suggestion?
Sure.
It's kind of interesting. I woke up this morning thinking about what we talked about yesterday, which was about a third of the way through. You raised the question, when have you had enough? And I got to thinking about this because getting to the state of having had enough, and I won't take it anymore, I won't settle for anything less, is something that I've thought about for a lot of years. And it's a question that I've personally struggled with. And of course, I've observed it in many, many people. So as I lay there in bed, kind of waking up, I thought, how could I discover or induce a trigger to this state of enough at will? And I sat there, I lay there thinking about the things that are unresolved in my life, about my pains, about my issues, or things that I aspire to that I haven't completed and so on, that remain fleeting for me, except at times when either I've gotten very emotional, either because I was mad as hell about something, or I was extremely moved by something of great beauty that beckoned to me that I wanted to participate in so much, that I felt I just had to have it. And then I got to thinking about, all right, how would I go about tackling something like that? And what occurred to me was I had the good fortune of having some experience with Nathaniel Brandon, who we like to say is kind of the father of sentence stem completion. And so it occurred to me that for the first time maybe in my life that if I use sentence stems, maybe I could get to the thoughts that are connected with the emotion of I've had enough. So I thought about, what if I use a stem like, if I knew one thing I really wanted more of, it might be, and finish that with 5 to 10 different endings, like maybe something like to experience life like I did when I was 30. Or I might, if I knew one thing I really wanted, it might be to feel financially worry-free again. Or if I knew one thing I really wanted more of, it might be to wake up feeling excited about what I might accomplish every morning. Then I got to thinking about it a little further. And I thought, well, what if we made it a little more specific to the idea of having enough? So I changed the stem to, I know I've had enough when, or I've had enough when I realize I can't help somebody that I really love to help. I know I've had enough when I'm tired of living in the place where I'm living today. And then I thought also, what if you change it to, when it comes to, say something like, for somebody, when it comes to living on my Social Security alone, I know I've had enough when I realize I can't help people I really love to help. So the sentence stem that starts with, when it comes to my social relationships, I know I've had enough when I don't enjoy being around the people that I thought I wanted to be around. So it just came to me that maybe there's a way to get to that enough, that's emotional state of enough that gets us off our butts and starting to doing something with whatever tools we have at hand.
I think that part that you just mentioned is the part that fears most people, because the questions that you are, the stem sentence completion process, I think is absolutely brilliant what Nathaniel did. And I know you've shared it many times here, but it's always worth repeating. But the key is, what do you think the thing is that we can help people through? Because we've got a little bit more experience than most people on the phone, both from life and from age. What do you think that thing is we can get people to get unstuck from? Well, what do I need to know more before I can start? Because it's never that's never the case, but that's the way they're taught. That's the way they've been trained.
Right. But what I was thinking was that no matter what, when you said you started out talking this morning about we're dealing with the unknown. Well, none of us know what our future's really going to end up being, right?
No, but everybody thinks they do. That's why they won't take action. Because but yes.
Well, right. But if you stop and think about, if you accept the fact that you don't really know, when, as I can't think of his name now, says, when you get to the point where you're willing to be okay with the way things work out, that you can prime the pump. If you can get to the emotion intensely enough, I've had enough, damn it. I'm not sitting here anymore, not doing something. I'm going to do something, and come hell or high water, I'm moving into my future.
Right.
And so the question for me was, how do I get to that state? How do I trigger that anger or that propulsion or compulsion to have something that's so beautiful you just can't live without it?
So one of the things that I know that a lot of people have shared with me, Tony Robbins' morning, I don't want to call it meditation, but morning ritual. And it's it's actually physically moving the body. And it's that where you're reaching up and you're pulling down from the universe and you're saying, yes, yes. It is to fire up the emotions. It's to get the chemical cocktail going. It's to get us high enough that we're on the verge of starting to move some adrenaline in our body, but still having the ability to think consciously about it.
But what I'm trying to add in here is tapping into our real values,
right,
at a core level. When it comes to spending all the time I typically do watching television or trolling on the internet, I know I've had enough when I realize this isn't getting me anywhere. So I was just trying to come up with some ways to trigger that state of enough, so that it just gets you up and moving.
Yeah, and so a couple of things that I do, right? So I'll use is it Mel Robbins 5 4 3 2 1,
Right. Yeah.
and I'll ask, okay, let me see if this is still worth it at the end of 5 seconds. 5 4 3 2 1, and you've got to have a little bit of your vision in place, because listen, I'll be the first one to say, Instagram scroll. Oh my God, where'd the last hour go? Right? Because it's kind of like, but so I have to absolutely check in on that. I love when my day gets scheduled for me, because otherwise I may not have a schedule. But the action steps are, you've got to be constantly checking in on a regular basis to see, is this what I want to do? We've got to be asking that question. Is this serving me? The challenge is most of us think we're going to have tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. So what's an hour of scrolling now?
That's right. This is a matter of getting to your real core values. What's really most important to you. Robbins 5 4 3 2 1 can get you over the edge of anxiety or fear of an unknown.
Right.
But what are you trying to go over the edge for? What is it that's out there that makes you mad enough that you're not going to put up with less?
Yep.
What is it that makes you mad enough that you're not going to suffer anymore? You're not going to settle for anymore? How do you get to that intense emotional state that propels you forward?
Well, and that's truly how does, it's usually an outside force that's got to trigger us. Usually it's,
Well, yeah, that's right. But we can wait all our life waiting for outside forces to motivate us and send us in a direction.
so that's where true mentorship comes in, and being able to have, we got to have something hold us accountable other than our own thoughts.
Except what I'm proposing is that we become accountable to our own values
Right.
to begin with. It's great to have somebody hold our hand and coach us and mentor us and all that sort of stuff. But where's our internal spark coming from?
Well, again, the internal spark comes from the day we've had enough, and it could be the simplest things. It could be somebody looking at us the wrong way. The challenge is that we're not ready to find that until we get pushed up against the wall. So we need somebody to be the catalyst. We need somebody to at least light the fuse. And that's what you do here when you ask these questions. That's what I do here when we ask these questions and have these conversations. We can push somebody with love and power and joy and say, get off your damn ass. Is this what you woke up for? Right? And even if they listen to the recording of somebody say that, even if they go watch motivational movies, right, that have the music behind them, and you hear the Les Browns and the Tony Robbins and the Earl Nightingales and all of these people in their 15-minute videos, and they're watched 7 million times, 8 million times, people are looking for that spark. Until they have actually, most people haven't experienced the spark. So therefore,
right. That's right. Yeah, I'm just advocating, after living almost a whole lifetime, that, gee, wouldn't it be great if I had that ability to turn myself on a half lifetime earlier?
Well, so here's the thing that just downloaded to me there, and this is something that I struggle with, is that when we live the life experiences that we've lived, say somebody like you and I, and we're in constant sharpening of the saw, it's rare that we come across people, or maybe we don't put ourselves in the way of people who might be the one that fires us or triggers us or sparks us. And so therefore we sit here and we go, well, I can go help you. I can go do this for you. But what am I getting? Well, how do I get myself out of this next thing? Right. So maybe, yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And when you find that, I'm sure there'll be $1 million book deal, because that's what we're all in search for. Where do we find that spark? Well, I get it. Listen, I get it every morning by getting on these calls. That's where my spark comes from, of being able to look at individuals and see them struggling and go, is this all you got? And just asking that question. No, I've got more. Well, then let's go do more.
Because part of this goes back to your often presented notions of being addicted to approval. And part of it comes from breaking away from mother, hopefully with your father's help, to become an independent adult who isn't organized around approval. Initially, we needed our mother's approval for survival, and then we gradually move away from that. And so I think it's intimately connected with that.
Absolutely.
If we say at some point, you know, damn it, I've been following what society's been telling me what to do every step of the way, or in a lot of instances, now I'm not going to. I'm going to go do my research and figure out what it is I want to do, because I've had enough. Yep. Anyway, I just think those sentence stems could be a way to grease the track to get to that activated experience of being fully alive.
And I agree. And you use, and the words you use are very important. The fact that he used the words to grease the tracks, because until you decide if you're not experienced friction, if you're not experienced resistance of the pull of the old story, right? Or how many of us have ever tried to, you buy a case of water? If you've ever bought a case of water wrapped in the plastic, and you want to go get a bottle of water out from the middle, and you got to push through the plastic, and some of the plastics are thicker than others, and you got to push harder. So there's one thing that's the pushing of the harder to try to get through something. And there's also the pull of the old that won't let you go, which is why sometimes we throw our hands up and go, screw it. So now the question is do you have the capacity, every one of you on the call, the 61 of you, do you have the capacity? Listen carefully. Do you have the capacity for more? Can more show up in your life? Yes or no? Type a Y or an N. So, and this is part of the engagement. So everybody has the capacity. Let me ask you this. Do you have the capabilities right now to add more to your day today? Can you add more to your day today, right now, in the next hour? Can you add, do you have the capability? You got the capacity. Do you have the capability to add more to your life? Yes or no? So if you have the capacity and the capability, this is what Bob's talking about. What the hell are we doing to not add more to our life? And I'm not talking add an ounce of joy to you. Can you add a pound? Can you add a ton of joy to your life? Can you do 4 or 5 activities that push you on the edge of scared to say, you know what? Screw this. I don't really care what anybody thinks about whether I'm in this business or not, or I'm going to ask them to join me in business, or look at my supplements, or look at my company. You've got to do the activity. It's called income producing activity, not results, not response, not the way you feel. It's not income producing. Do you feel okay doing what you're doing? But the key in that word, Trill, is the A, activity. We've got to be doing the activity to take care of us. Can you do something in the next hour to take care of you? Listen.
To overcome the inertia of staying stuck.
Exactly. And that's why I offer, in a roundabout way, the ability to create some inertia when you get responses back. Listen, if you're sending out texts and not getting any responses back, might need a little shift in your energy, because people you're sending texts out to either don't like you or don't know what to think of you, or your message didn't give them a reason to fall back in love with you.
The meaning of your message is the response you get, no matter what you intended originally.
Say that again, Bob.
the meaning of your response, the meaning of your message is the response you get to that message.
Ooh, snap.
Even if you intended something different.
Right.
So you're responsible for crafting your message to get the response that you want.
So, Chairman Stan, you got a question. Now, listen, I've got calls that are going all day long that are starting at 10. So this has a 9:45 hard stop. Just letting y'all know. This is not going for 3 hours today. I can't. I've got 7 training calls going on today, 4 or 5 in English and 2 in Spanish.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, what's up, Stan?
I just wanted to come show some quick gratitude. These last 2-3 weeks been kind of rough for my household. My family and I were kind of sick, and it was I'm good now. My family we're healthy now. I'm very, very grateful for that. But I felt kind of like my business was stuck kind of because I couldn't do calls for my team. I couldn't really be on my laptop. But I'm better now. This whole week I've been doing teams for my call, and yesterday I did a networking call for my team, just to show them how I got to the rank I am and help them out. And I actually showed them a video of us on April 7th when you were explaining edification to me. You did a great job edifying me twice, actually. So I showed them that, and they all loved the video. Some of them are on this call now.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, so I just really wanted to thank you for that, and thank you for everything you do, because the nuggets you give, the value you give is insane, and it really goes a long, long way. And I just want everybody to continue to duplicate you and try to be a better version of themselves. So I just want to say thank you. And your calls really had, but while I was sick, they were just like, I couldn't speak, but it was giving me a lot of positivity and keeping me at a positive mindset. And I really enjoyed the call with Les Brown. I couldn't speak on it, but I really, really enjoyed that call. So I just want to say thank you again.
So have you gotten the recordings?
No, I didn't get the recording for Les Brown.
So if you go there, you'll have access to it.
Awesome.
Interviewswithsean.com, and you'll get at I have it behind a membership site because it is kind of a one-off kind of deal, but it's open to anybody who puts in a little effort to get it.
Awesome. When are we all getting his book too? Are we
I've got to check. So it should be, I got to check with Babette to see, because I haven't heard anything when they wanted to launch it. So I'll check with Babette today to see when they want to do that.
Awesome. I got the recording up now. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you, Sean.
Awesome, man. Love you tons. Appreciate you, Stan. Glad you and your family are better. You're in our prayers.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's go to Serbia. Hey, Alex.
Good morning, Sean. How are you doing today?
Outstanding, brother.
Absolutely grateful for that. I just wanted to touch on 2 things.
Okay.
And since Giorgio got his hands up and you are about to do a hard stop, yeah, Sandra, Serbia's in the building. I got another Serb Canadian.
I saw the last name and I went, I know where
Oh,
it came
snap.
from.
Oh, snap. Yeah. And the hard stop is going to happen in about 20 minutes or so I'm going to keep it tight.
Okay.
I want to touch on 2 things. Those things are something I think about daily in my routines of thinking, right? Which is consistency and the triggered emotions. Now, about the consistency part, people don't understand that consistency, hard work, and discipline make the dream work, all right? But discipline, not in terms of punishment, since we take a look at discipline as a bad military thing, right? No, discipline is self-love, all right? Discipline is when you go, no, instead of, I'm not going to do what Sean said, I'm not going to scroll through Instagram for an hour. No, I'm going to send out those messages for 30 minutes because I love myself too much and I love those people too much.
Right.
Right. And so you just got to change the perspective on the discipline and how you look at those things and consistency. Yeah, every day. Why are some people not on the call through weekends? Why? It's even later in the day.
Jim Rohn would say, don't sign up for that class.
Oh, snap. Why aren't they in the calls on weekends?
Listen, all I care is that you're here. So now you and I can have a conversation.
All I
Right?
care is you're here every day, sir, for us. So thank you so much for that. And the other thing about emotions that I often think about is I believe there's two kind of those triggered quote unquote emotions. Some of them come through you having the decision, but a firmly emotionally triggered, emotionally background decision, and those are the decisions that matter. Those are that's enough decision, right? And on the other hand, you have decisions which are being made from emotions that came through um, external pressure. What's the goal you've set for this year when you were drunk and hungover at January 1st? That decision's not gonna last shit, right?
Right.
The decision you made when you were listening to these calls every day and you were thinking, and what am I gonna do? What's gonna happen with all this? That's the decision when you got emotionally triggered to pull that off. The decision you made when you were happy or when you were sad, when something bad happened, when something bad came up, those decisions are probably not going to last because in tomorrow morning you're going to feel different and oh snap, it all goes away, right? But these decisions are just something that's going to be like backfired and wired to your brain. It's going to happen no matter what. It's going to happen one way or the other. I told Rhonda about my decision, which is to come to that Texas and try her husband's ribs, and that's a pretty bad decision. She can she can confirm it, and it's gonna happen one way or the other. All right.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Just all jokes aside, but and just one more thing about the when are we gonna start doing things? I have a routine when I wake up every morning. I count to 5 and I get up. I don't overthink about it. I don't put any thought into it because those activities are something that has to happen. That's the consistency. That's the I'm gonna keep doing it no matter what. Count of 5 and do it. Count of 5, send messages. Count of 5, work on your business. And sorry, just one more thing from the book Think and Grow Rich. And if anyone hasn't read it, there's a whole chapter on specialized knowledge. And that comes back to the thing that Sean said, which is very important, and people do not understand those things. There's a general knowledge when you know what they did Hitler die on or whatever. And there's specialized knowledge for these kind of things. So all of us, including me with all this shit in my hand here, including me, all these notes from everyone's calls and all that stuff. But what do you do with it? It's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. I'll leave you at that. Thank you, Sean, for your time, sir.
Love you, brother. Appreciate
Alex, you are remarkable.
you. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him
I
that.
am
He'll
gonna
get
tell
Don't
stuck.
tell me that. Come on.
I don't care.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
care. I
starstruck here.
am.
Don't tell me that.
No, I'm gonna stroke that ego. I'm going to love on you. I'm going to show you some East Texas hospitality because
Ooh, snap. Watch your words there. Watch your words
Huh?
there.
do what?
Watch your words there. Don't keep promises that are too big for you to go through.
So that's what you need to learn about Miss Rhonda. If it comes out her mouth, she's willing to stand behind it.
All right.
You,
I love it.
I absolutely love your tenacity and your ability to go after your dreams. I'm envious of that. I see so much passion inside of you, but you hit a key phrase. I don't care how many books you have laying around, how many notes you've taken. It doesn't matter until you begin to apply it.
Yeah.
And as you apply it, knowledge is not power. Apply knowledge correctly leads to the results that you want. And that you begin to get power over your thoughts. And as you can collect and have power over your thoughts, that changes everything. And I am so impressed with jumped on these calls in less than a week, and you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, some vulnerability for a young man of your age, vulnerable, and I want you to know I commend you for, I honor you for that, and I am going to sit on the Alice ride and see where this goes, because you, my friend, you have a very, very bright future, and I love it. And yes, I will feed you ribs. I will feed you all kinds of ribs. We will go hunting. We'll do whatever you want to do when you get your Serbian butt over here to Texas. Do you hear me?
All right. I
I
appreciate
love
that. Thank
you.
you.
You're amazing.
Love you
Thank you
back.
for brightening my world and bringing more smiles and joy to my heart.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
He's going to be one of those people lining up for your deer jerky.
Come on. Hey, we made deer jerky yesterday. Are you kidding me? Come on, Bob. It was good too.
Let's go to Ecuador and Giorgio. Hey, Giorgio, good to have you here, brother.
Hey guys. Well, first of all, thank you for having me in the group. As you said, it just came out of giving a message back to Facebook, and it's an interesting thing what you said about energy, because as we are in this chat, I have gotten two chats from WhatsApp from people saying, "Hey, what are you been up to? I've been thinking about you." And this energy thing, it's like, what the hell? What's happening? So crazy, right? Haven't answered to them yet, but I'm on it. I was listening to Bob and a lot of what people saying. Maybe it's the Latin American thing. I feel I have that fire to do things, and I'm in a point in my life where I have done some changes. As I was telling you, I got divorced a couple months ago. I was weighing 40 pounds more, so I'm doing exercise. So that was a change for me to start doing that. And I started surfing. I've been doing lots of different things, but it has been a constant in my life to feel that the economic part, it's just not worth it. I mean, I'm a hard worker. I've put the effort on it. I've done lots of things. I'm a salesman, and I've sold tons of things, but my general feeling is it's not worth it. Maybe Latin America is a screwed up continent because resources are so scarce that either you work a lot and you don't make much, or you do get the good job with the good commissions and they just don't pay you because people here are just crooks like that. That's how it works. So I'm not looking for the fire inside to do things, because I do have it. I guess the nail underneath me, it's big. It's huge, man. It's going across my leg. So I do have the fire to do things. I just don't know what to do. And when I find things that I could do, the feeling inside is it going to be worth it this time? Am I going to get screwed over again? Do I do it or don't I do it? And I do get into things, but then that feeling keeps on inside because I just don't find the success at the end of the tunnel. You know, I put in the hard work, and yeah, I make some money, but I don't see myself thriving. I don't see myself getting to those points, especially in the financial deal. I mean, I'm good with people. I can get friends. I can get relationships going. I'm not afraid to walk into any place I have to walk in to get things done. I just don't see results coming through that are worth it, and I'm looking for that.
So Giorgio, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
Is it okay if that story changes?
Of course, that's what I'm desperately looking for.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is a part of mentorship right now. So if you're looking from a place, right? Imagine you put on a pair of goggles, a pair of glasses that says everything's going to be screwed up. Is it possible to see through those glasses an opportunity that's not screwed up? It's a little bit difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah. See, the fact that you said that it's hard tells me you've been able to see it before. Most people would say, sure, I could see it. They'd be lying their ass off, because we can't see it when we see everything as shit. So yes. I'm going to say, no matter what you and I do going forward, because we just rekindled our relationship an hour ago, I'm going to make a commitment to you here in front of everybody. We're going to have conversations, be it daily on this call or you and me, to get you out of this funk, because the world needs this brilliant 39-year-old to be providing value back in the universe, and you can't hide anymore. So are you okay with not hiding anymore?
Yeah, my friend. Yeah, my friend.
Yeah,
I am.
because
I am a weird guy. You know.
yeah, well, I know you got divorced. You went to a party town, and you've been screwing around for the last 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
And so now it's time. Let's pull your head out of your ass and let's get going, because you've got too much to give the world. You can't hide anymore. And if you're okay with not hiding, I'll make sure we put a spotlight on you somewhere in the world.
I'm grateful for you, brother. I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. Giorgio, I'm so excited. You have no idea.
So am I. So am I. It's a great day to at least see light at the end of the tunnel, because I was kind of in a dark place without knowing where to move. And I know there's a reason why things happen. And for some reason, you put out that chat yesterday, and for some reason, I went ahead and answered it. So there's got to be something going on here bigger than myself.
And so, bigger than both of us. And it matters not whether we get into business together. If we do, awesome. If we don't, awesome. But the world needs you, and this community needs you, because you've got some experience that you've been through that some people are facing right now. Some people are up against the same kind of wall. The challenge is they don't know if they have the courage to get through it. The difference is you've been to the wall before and you've gotten through it. So you're going to be able to inspire people. So maybe it's you writing a book. Maybe it's you doing something else, but let's work on this together today, what we talked about earlier, and let's go from there and see what happens. I'm excited.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, my
All right,
friend.
Giorgio, you're the best.
So are you, my friend. And thank you, everybody in the group, for their words. You inspired me to do things different today.
Listen, so I'll tell you this. When I was talking to Giorgio earlier this morning, he was in a hammock. You guys have him so fired up, he can't sit still right now. So that's a good thing.
Well, can you see the corridor here? I just moved the rest of the hammocks, and I'm just walking through the corridor back and forth. Caminando, tranquilo.
That's cool. Appreciate you, brother.
That's okay.
Philip, back in Serbia. Let's go to Serbia. So we just went from Ecuador to Serbia. Who does this on their calls? How cool is this? Y'all are a bunch of amazing misfits.
Hi, Sean. How are you doing today?
Good, Philip.
First of all, I just want to thank you for your understanding and your advices that you give me for these 2 days, And I just want to ask you something. I have a little bit of problem with the persons, because they often don't know how to see the difference between I must do this and I want to do this, or I don't want to do this.
Right.
Because there's only 2 things in life that you must do. That is to born, naked, and to die. Anything else is up to you. Will you do this or you're not?
Right.
And when they think I must do this, they are, they're like, I need to do this, but I don't want to do this. I need to get, a good part of it, because I don't want to get hurt or anything else. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get broke, something else.
Right.
So
here's how you work the difference between the two. Whether it's a want or a must, the question you ask them is, if you did it, how would you feel?
All right.
And then the next question is if you don't do it, how would you feel?
All right.
And then the third question is, which one of those do you want?
All right.
And now they pick. See, because the challenge is what I must do is something you tell me I have to do.
Of course.
What I want to do is something I want to do. So they want to put the blame on you editorially, all of you. When you talk to somebody, I must join you. Oh, I have to join you. That's why you get objections. I don't have money. I don't have time, because you're telling them it's a must. You have to do what I do. So I always ask the question. You've heard me ask that. Well, you haven't heard me, but everybody else on the calls have heard me ask people and walk them through the process. Listen, you want to go talk to 10 people today. How would you feel if you did that? I'd feel great. How would you feel if you didn't do that? I'd feel like shit. Awesome. Which one of those feelings do you want? I want to feel good. Do you have the capacity and the capability to start right now? Great. Let me know at the end of the day which feeling you got. I can't tell anybody what to do. This is where most people fall short in their leadership, is they're trying to tell you what to do. They're called world leaders, not world tell you what to do. Meaning lead, you have to be out in front. If I'm telling you what to do, I'm behind you, pushing you. That is not a leader.
Yeah.
That's a
I understand.
pusher. So a world leader is the one that draws you out, draws you forward. But I got to be standing in the right place to draw them into place that allows them to see the success. And it's all about the feeling. That's what Bob was talking about earlier. How do we get ourselves pissed off enough? Because it's usually only pain that moves us. They say there's only pain and joy. Pain is what moves us. Even if we're in love, if I'm in love and my bride says, Mason is going on stage, I would love for you to be here. It's the pain of not being in that love that forces me to change my plans for the day.
Of
So
course.
even if it's total love, it's still the pain part that moves us. And too many of us aren't in enough pain to make the move. And I'm looking at you, Philip. Philip, you tell me what to do. If you tell me, I have people say this all the time, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I go, Why would you ever put your authority in me? There's only one authority and it ain't me. But if you put your authority in me, then you got to change something in your life because you're putting authority in something you have no authority over.
Of course.
Does that help, brother?
Yes. Thank
Awesome.
you very much, Sean, as always.
I love the fact that we got Serbia and Quito and the UK and all across. We got Panama on the phone. Kayla's here.
It could be FOMO too, also, right?
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
Yep.
And we're also thankful to have you here. So,
Cool. All right. Dakaya, if it's short, because I got to go in 3 minutes.
It's very short. I think I can make it in 2, actually.
Well, first of all, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh,
to
it's
you.
tomorrow.
I know, but I want to say it today. I want to be the first one. What's your
Thank
comment?
you. You are the first. So the other day I was talking to my friend, and we, in short, brung up my place. The place that we have in our head, a place of, joy, right? So thank you, Leo. So one thing was, what is it that you haven't experienced in your place? And like, for instance, right, mine is on a beach. I have like my dream house on top of a hill. And I have like a thin forest in there, right? But it's always sunset. And I was like, I never experienced the water. I don't know what temperature it is. I don't know what the other side of my beach looks like. I haven't been on top of the hill to see if there's more houses and stuff like that. So just one thing is like, what in your place haven't you experienced? What new perspective haven't you been in? And one thing too, I was like, that she brought up was, if you were a mermaid, like what would your perspective look like in that type of sense? So that was really what I wanted to share with you guys today, and hope that helps a little bit. And thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm so excited for tomorrow.
It should be 21 tomorrow. Woohoo! Look out, world. Some of us are going, oh, if I was 21 again.
Thank you guys. I love you all so much, and have an amazing day.
Well, there you go, folks. Another amazing morning. I appreciate you. Thank you for moving forward today. Thank you for finding the courage inside of you, because everything you need is already inside you. Everything you want is already inside of you. It's always the next step. Doesn't matter if it's the house on the hill with the beach and the sunset. It's inside of you. It's the next step that gets you closer. Are you moving closer towards it or farther away? So with that, we get to do this again tomorrow morning. I appreciate y'all. I love you all so very much. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits, and I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love to each other.
Love you, my Misfit family.
Love you guys.
Everyone have a blessed day.
Love you guys.
Have a blessed
Love
day.
you, everybody.
Love you all.
You
Have a
brilliant
wonderful day,
on
everyone.
purpose.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day.
Bye, guys.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yay.
And we'll sing happy birthday again tomorrow.
Bye, Serbia,
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Florida.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye,
Au
everybody.
revoir.